Thank you for joining me. I didn't figure we'd have a big group, but I'm going to talk about ICRM certifications, some of our recent partnerships, some of the things that are new if you're familiar with it, and if I haven't talked to you, I'll catch you up. But bottom line, if you view information management as just a job, it's an administrative function or a bit of technology that you support, this probably isn't for you. If you view yourself as a salesperson to bring technological solutions and RIM and info governance is a part of it, this may not be for you. If you view yourself as a consultant who will bring tools for problem solving and a structure or project management, it doesn't matter who you go to, this may not be for you. But if you look at information management as a distinct and unique profession, separate from archiving, separate from technologists, separate from library science, you're in the right place, because most of the records managers that I know that are certified are passionate about this. What we do is unique and distinct and different. It covers the field. There are many different specialties in the profession. There are many unique and graduate degree programs that support it. But we are a distinct space in records and information management. And so I'm going to talk about what we've got, how to pursue them. First off, the Institute for Certified Records Managers is just that. We're the certifying body. We don't teach, we don't train, we don't sell training, we don't sell books. We certify professional records managers. And it's just that, the certification exam, and once you're certified, we operate a certification maintenance program to prove that what your credential is still relevant, still meaningful, and not just an exam that you took a year ago or 10 years ago. We confer two specific certifications. The Certified Records Manager, or CRM, we view as the master practitioner credential in this industry. And we've also offered the Certified Records Analyst. That's new. If you're familiar with SHRM, the Society of Human Resource Managers, they offer a professional in human resources management and a senior professional. So we recently started the CRA, Certified Records Analyst, is something new. It's a stepping stone. And that may be your lifelong and career cap, and that's just fine. But to move on to the master level, it's the CRM. We also operate and establish a code of ethics, and it's not hollow. It's something, it's good ideas, but yes, indeed, we have decertified folks who don't meet the standards of the profession. We have two post-certification specialty exams, and those are industry-specific. The oldest and the longest partner is from NIRMA, the Nuclear Information Management and Records Association, and they have a nuclear specialist. That's after becoming a CRM. They designate, they have their own exam, and we now administer that, and I'll talk about that later, and a new one, federal specialist. It's possible where you may develop a law firm, zoo, pharmaceutical. That's coming, maybe, maybe not, but those are the two that we have right now. We were established in 1966. We're a long partner with ARMA, but we're not ARMA. We're indeed a separate body. They built a body of knowledge and began conferring certifications in 1975. We have an elected volunteer board of regents, and I'm John Krysa. I'm the president-elect of ICRM. My day job, I'm a consultant for Milliken & Associates, and I'm also a recently retired senior executive from the FBI. I did electronic records programs there. But some of our board members, who are all CRMs in good standing, may give you an idea of the kind of folks that are CRMs. So our current chairman of the board is the Michigan State Records Officer. The current president is the Valero Energy Global Records and Information Officer. The regent for exam grading is the Walt Disney Corporate Records and Information Manager. Former chairman is the Apple Corporation Records Officer. Another former chairman is the registrar of the St. Louis Zoo. And when you think about St. Louis Zoo, it's quasi-governmental. They've got real estate. they've got a police department, they've got health records, and animals, wild animals are a highly regulated industry, particularly with loans and movements. So we've got a range. In addition, I'm the quasi-retired, quasi-consultant, but bringing the federal space. We also had IBM and some other big consulting firm folks. So that's who we are, and I'll talk a little bit about where CRMs are found. We maintain an ICRM body of knowledge and outline, and we'll talk about that. And the exams are developed by serving CRMs who are still in practice. In fact, that's one of our biggest expenses, is bringing folks in to continually refresh the test bank and review the outline. So just because it's built, like some other certificates, which are very valuable, but a certificate may be training, take the exam, here's your certificate, and it may go a number of years before it faces a refresh. We do it every year. Not for profit. We only have, the only employees are Cap Hill Management, and that's when you answer the phone for the number, they'll answer ICRM because of what line is flashing, and they'll get you to an account executive that can answer your questions. Otherwise, we're practitioners. We do this because we're passionate about the business. So, CRM, my worldview, not the associations, I ought to cover my badge, just like the CPA is to accounting and finance, I tend to view the CRM as the same in records and information management. It is the base credential. It is the mark of a master. But there's specialties. Just like a CPA may be accounting, it may be in financial planning, maybe taxation, maybe auditing. It's much the same with the CRM. Our CRMs have, I have a CIP. Some of our folks have the information governance professional. Many are PMPs. Some are in privacy. Some are security certifications. So it's an add-on, if you will. If that's your field of practice, it's great. But it's not really a, which one should I do? It's the base credential. Okay, the second one, as I said, is Certified Records Analyst. It's a stepping stone toward the CRM, and when I talk about the requirements, you'll see how you get there. It's a slightly different path. You still have to have education experience, and you take the exams, and then once you've taken the exams, you must engage in certification maintenance, continuing ed, if you will, to maintain the credential. Well, CRA is all of those, and then as you get more knowledge, experience, comfort level, or expand your scope from work, you may want to take the other exams to move on to the CRM. And yeah, good idea. The numbers are, I updated the slides from our database just before I came in the room, and we are at 977 certified records managers currently, 123 certified records analysts, so that makes the number of 1,090. Not that big, and it's been that way for a number of years. It tends to be people who are senior, not entry level, although the CRA will help with those who are finding their way into the profession. I didn't become certified until I was already successful in my career, but if records and information management was a part of it, so I said, okay, I better get some chops, and so I pursued the certification. 172 are retired. You can still retain the credential, say CRM retired, it's what I used to do, but you can't be in practice. There are actually, say 1,041, that's about right. That's how many people are in the pipeline, and that number is up. That's up significantly because we've created the CRA as a stepping stone. What's not on there is, and that distinguishes our certification from just earning a certificate, there are 128 people last year who were decertified. They're CRMs that didn't keep up with their continuing ed. They weren't active, they weren't current, and there's lots of ways to do it, but they didn't. And so thank you very much. Reminder, reminder, reminder. You're done. You're no longer CRM because you haven't upheld the standards of currency. Your knowledge isn't, the credential doesn't mean that you're sharp and you're still where you were when you first passed the exam. A quarter are government. Me, I'm a Fed, and I'm one of the few. Most those that say government come in state, local, municipalities, commissions, airport authorities. And think about an airport authority, same thing, real estate, health, got their own police department in some cases, utility commissions. So there's a number that are in the government lane. Consulting are 12%, selling services and advice, like my job. And then the other utilities, financial, energy, manufacturing. Those are small numbers, but they continue. We've got the width and breadth of whatever field of endeavor. We've got records managers that are necessarily in them. So how do you become a CRM? Well, first you apply. You go online. You fill out the application. Demonstrate that you meet the requirements. Once you're accepted as a candidate, then you may go out and begin testing. Once you pass parts 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, the different knowledge areas, then you're eligible to sit part 6, which is a written case study. That's also very different from a lot of other educational or certificate programs. And you have a 5-year clock. The exception now becoming a CRA is you just have to pass parts 2, 3, and 4. You're bound by a code of ethics. You must do continuing ed, and your exams don't age out. You've got all the time in the world to pass parts 1, which is general management, part 5, technology, and then sit and write the case study. Why does it not age out? Well, you're bound by the code of ethics. You have to do continuing education, so you're current. Okay. www.icrm.org, that's the best way. You'll find your way to the website. And that phone number will also get you someone who will coach you. I can't find the website. How do I apply? If you have other questions, you'll get one of the paid staff that'll explain it. If you also look on the website, you'll find members of the board of directors, and we all have day jobs. But if you're having trouble, somebody will give you a hand. So the distinction, how are we different? You just can't sign up and take the exams. You have to demonstrate a combination of experience and education. It's not an entry level. You must have at least 1 year of experience somewhere in the RIM field, and then a 4-year degree. If you don't have a 4-year degree, that's all right. That is substituted by additional years of experience in the profession. What's records management experience? A lot of folks don't, particularly when they're getting into it, like me. Records was one of many things on the scope. And so, as you see, it studies implementing programs. So if you're a vendor, you're selling technology. If part of it is a record solution, an information management, information governance solution, that counts. If you're a professor, you're teaching it, that counts. Or you're a trainer. So it's not just a self-certification. You need some kind of evidence, whether it's the description or letters or client engagements if you're supporting folks. And that's added to your application. It'll be reviewed. And once reviewed, accepted candidate, now you're released to begin testing. Our tests are done at Pearson VUE test centers. Long ago, you may have heard some of the old timers, you had to do a proctored exam, find somebody, go to their office, go to their space. Now we test 4 times a year, spread throughout the year, and you take it at a test center. The exam is each part 100 questions, 80 minutes each, in the test center, multi-guess exam. No penalty for guessing, and you have to, the passing is 70%. So you can take all 5 at once. In fact, that was, I'd been in the RIM profession a few years when I went to sit the exams. I sat, I registered, I took all 5 with a little bit of preparation. Then I flunked one of the parts. And then I did deliberate study for that part of the outline, went and retook it, and then was open to my part 6. Same thing, no penalty for guessing. And the part 6. Part 6, it's a written case study, and this is very different from most any other kind of credential you pursue. There are 2 case studies, 2 50-pointers. The first one is mandatory, you must do that. The second one, you'll have a choice between 2. Here's the secret. When you the case study for number 1, it'll say, you are a certified records manager. You have just been hired as the records officer for XYZ. Or you're a CRM, you're a consultant, you're just engaged by the board of directors, you are tasked to prepare an analysis and assessment for whatever. And what you find is everything's broke. I mean, it'll be, everything's wrong. Then the other case studies, it'll be a little more focused. It may be a digital, it may be a disaster recovery, it may have a heavy paper conversion, it may be a merger of different organizations. You'll have a unique, nuanced, it'll neck it down. So those are the two. You have to write the business case. It's 4 hours to complete both of them. They give you a break, also done in a test center. The only negative of those, there's no formatting, no font, no underline, no bolding. It will give you an outline. You must do an exec summary, and it'll explain the parts. So for those that are used to using the full capacity of Microsoft Word, you won't be able to do that because you'll just have to write text in the fields on the system. No spell check, but and I'll talk about grading in a second. It's graded by CRMs in good standing, and we pay the CRMs to grade exams with continuing education credits because they'll receive the case study, they'll get the school solution, they'll have to study what are the elements of the solution, and then they'll follow a grader's guide. So they actually refresh themselves by what's prepared for them. So, and we now, this is a little different from, I think, when you probably did a Part 6. Each one is graded by 2 graders independently, and it's blind. They just see a number. They don't know what part of the country, they don't know who you are, male, female, what industry. All they know is this is candidate number. And so that'll be all they know about you, so they're going to score that. The case study is focused on solving the problem. You must immerse yourself. I am the CRM. Here are the factors. What do I recommend to the, whoever it says, the general counsel, the chief admin officer, the chairman of the board, and you write to them as if you're writing a business case. Here's your problem, and here's what you need to do to fix it. It's not an academic exam where you spew forth everything you know about vital records or life cycle management. It's how do you fix the problem, and very focused. So it's a practical application of that knowledge that you have. Costs you $100 to apply. You're accepted as a candidate. Say starts at 5-year clock. Each exam is $100 each. Part 6 is $150. All Pearson VUE, and any Pearson VUE center, and there are some overseas internationally. And if it's English as a second language, you're looking at folks who might be overseas or an extension, they can clearly take it there. If it's English as a second language, there's a provision to grant more time, but it's English only. We don't do it in other languages. Okay. The post-certification specialty, CRM Fed, we said, we had a presidential records management directive came out a couple years ago that tried to get the federal government out of using paper. And so it was imposed on all executive branch agencies. And so with the release of this directive and this flurry of activity, both consulting and technology products, we said perhaps we should have a designation for those CRMs whose industry is the federal government, whether you are doing consulting for it, supporting, or selling technology products, to show you understand the unique rule sets that apply to record keeping and records requirements and information management programs in the federal government. For example, how do you develop a record schedule? You gather your requirements, codify it, the general counsel signs off. In the federal government, there's a different process. You have to do the same steps, but it's a little bit different. So we've captured a lot of that. Same thing, you have to have experience, be a serving CRM, have 4 years experience, and there's a fee. We haven't kicked it off. That'll start in January. The writing team is finishing up right now with pilot testing the exam, so that'll come out in early 18. For those that were particularly interested, if you are in the federal sector, 44 U.S. Code, 36 Code of Federal Regulations, and our standards, that's where a lot of it comes from, because you have to understand what those are, where do you find them, and how do you apply it. How do you take generally accepted record-keeping practices and then apply it to the unique federal requirements? NIRMA, one of our oldest partners, created the exam, and this is a small in number, but you think about it, nuke plants, nuclear fuel, spent nuclear products, all very unique record-keeping requirements. So CRM, master of the profession, but with knowledge of those specific elements are who this is for. This one also requires membership in that particular association. What I found interesting when I first looked at this, I just knew it existed, there's not one standard. So if you've got a nuclear power generation plant, you get to pick what standard your information retention and information organization is under. There are a number of defined, but it depends on the age of the plant, the technology, where it's at, and the regulatory environment, but you pick that unique set. I didn't know that, but that's part of what goes into that credential. Okay, now, once certified, I talked certification maintenance. This is the continuing ed. You have to earn 100 points, which is a point is an hour, within a 5-year cycle. Anything in the CRM outline is acceptable. Any of the broad range will work. And you submit them, they're added to your file. 1 hour continuing ed things you self-certify. Like this conference, this will grant a certain number of hours. ARMA conference, a lot of the big conferences will be pre-certified. But if you go to an ARMA meeting, you do a 1 hour webinar at work, that's all you need, you're covered. And you can turn that in yourself. You have to turn it in within 6 months, so you can't get to the end of your 5 years and then do a dump of stuff that's honest, because we're mostly volunteers and it's managing the work. And annual dues of $200. A couple new things. We've got some new strategic partners. We've never really had academic partners until the past couple of years. So there's a Louisiana State University program and San Jose State. We have said, and we've done a crosswalk of the ICRM body of knowledge against their curriculum. So if you're a graduate of the Louisiana State certificate program, you have to have a bachelor's degree, and it's just a number of graduate level courses, we'll waive the requirement to take parts 1 through 5. You just move to part 6. With San Jose State, 2 tracks. If you graduate from their MARA, Master of Archives and Records Admin, not library science, that one, you can come out and immediately move to sitting either just the CRA, for those who are somewhat new to the business, the CRA, or pursue CRM and just move straight into the Part 6 case study. The other part with San Jose State, we've said that 1 year of experience, well, San Jose has an internship guided by a CRM, and so if you've completed an internship, we'll give you credit. AIM, we just signed a partnership with them. If you are an AIM ERM master, we will give you credit for passing the Part 5 technology exam. Also, AIM will give us a discount. All CRM, CRAs, knowing you need continuing ed, knowing you need just-in-time training, we'll get a discount. You don't have to be an AIM member. Any AIM training, not their conference, but any AIM training that you take, you'll be given credit. And we've renewed some of our partnerships, such as InfoGovCon, to come and do education. There we go. We've changed what we've done, but we still view this as the mark of the master practitioner. And if you have any questions, I've been at the booth, but I've got some brochures, and I'll be around a little bit today. Thank you very much.